Today we're going to be looking at every single Valorant Vandal and ranking them from D all the way up to S. Some are completely forgotten with literally 0 votes, and the S have quite literally thousands and thousands of votes as I run them through polls by the end. I'm not gonna lie, it might seem like I do these often, and to some extent I do as I cycle different guns, but believe it or not, the last time the Vandal video came up for skins was 6 months ago, which is crazy because the top 5, at least a couple in the top 5, are gonna shock you. The opinion of the community genuinely shifted, and some skins that we were bitter towards end up making a comeback. So let's get straight into it with the D tier. A lot of these Vandals don't have a single vote, but to be honest, kind of deserved, except one. Okay, let's start at the bottom. So at the very bottom in the D category, we have the Wonder Stallion. Like, low-key, someone vote for this thing. It's not that bad. My goodness, there's definitely worse skins, but it's fine. It's forgotten, I understand. Wonder Stallion. We've got the MKV2 Vandal. We've got the Hollow Moku Vandal. I'm gonna mispronounce a lot of these. We've got the Guardrail Vandal, Comet Vandal, Wasteland Vandal, Venturi Vandal. I mean, I just gotta say one thing. Anything from the battle pass that's in here makes sense. Not that deep, you know what I mean? Anything that does well that's in the battle pass, that's what Riot should be looking at. But in this case, there's also stuff like Valorant Go Volume 2 in D tier with 0 votes. Like, people actually paid $20 for this skin, which is kind of crazy. We have Titan Mail, same idea. If this was a battle pass Vandal, I bet you would have done a little bit better. We have Tethered Realms, Long Forgotten, and Good Riddance. We have the Team Ace Vandal. We've got the Starlit Odyssey. I don't think this one's that bad for but like in the end, there's so many good Vandals. We're talking about, we're going through so many, so it makes sense. We have the Sylvanas Vandal, Sensation, Schema, also not terrible, but yeah, no one uses these. The Sarmad, the Sandswept, Prism 2, Orion, Nunca Olvidados, sorry, I can never say it, No Limits, Lux, Immortalized, Horizon, Endeavor, Ego, Black Market. This one's also not that bad. I'm actually surprised no one voted for this. Avalanche, Aristocrat, Altitude, Ruin. Again, very surprised there's no votes. Some people might say it's just because they're forgotten and people don't look for these in the lists, which is somewhat true, but there are some other worse skins that got votes, so I don't know. Then we got Nitro, Monstrosity, Lycan's Bane, K-Tac, again, one of the better battle passes, but okay, whatever. Then Depths. So these all got 0 vote. However, as we go into the next section, a lot of these got very, 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 very little votes. So to top off our D tier with very low amounts of votes, there's Storm Ma, Torque, Winter Wonderland, Hive Mind, Crimson Beast, .sys, Transition. So that kind of wraps up the forgotten Vandals that no one cares about. However, when we move into the C tier, it's not overly better. Straight into the C tier, we have the Sakura. It's a nice skin, but very low. Best, if this was in the battle pass, I think it would have gotten more. Then we got the Origin in C tier. This thing I've slowly seen fall off, man. And you know what? It's fine. It's fine. I don't think it's that bad, but the sound, it's just crazy. It goes to show sound design will be #1. Because Origin as a gun doesn't look bad. Animation's cool, but the sound design is really bad. Then we have the Cavalier, and we have Overdrive, which I'm really surprised to see that low. I mean, I understand it's not the best skin, but C is kind of low for Overdrive. But I mean, I understand it still. I understand it. Considering how many Vandals are in the game, I do understand it. Also, Neptune. This used to always be like A tier back in the day, but Neptune has fallen off a cliff, and it is now here in the C category alongside Bite Shift, which is a whatever Vandal. And then we have .exe, which, you know, is an OG. It actually kind of almost slips into the B category, but I don't even want to put it there because it's like just, I mean, okay, I think it's just nostalgia. It's an OG. So we basically end off C tier with .exe, but there's one more. It's also pretty new. We've got the Minima Vandal. The Minima Vandal also teeters between the two, so I kind of get to decide, and bam, it's going down into C tier. I hate the Minima. Anyway, time to go into the B tier category. Here we have decent skins that some I love. Like the first one leading B is Mage Punk. Basically no votes, but you know what? I love Mage Punk. I think it's one of my favorite Vandals. I really like Mage Punk. Underrated, but it's fine. It's fine. It's very, 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 very low. It's almost in C, but I bumped it up into B basically. From there we have the ooh, the Cyrax. Also teetering between the two. Interesting. So these next couple skins, I'll explain. They're in the vote count where it's basically they could have been C. They're very low on the list, but they're just slipping into B due to the fact that I don't think they're that bad. So Mage Punk is one of them. I really like it. The next one is the, Cyrax or Kyrax or whatever, the newest skin to the game, or one of the newer skins in the game. Damn. Yeah, this thing's straight up ass though. So no wonder it teeters between C and B. I would probably lean C. I really don't like it. I think it just looks so plasticky, but I think it might grow on a couple people and it has its niche, so it also has effects and stuff. Okay, B. Ends up in B. From there, we got an OG. We have Elderflame. Elderflame also teeters between the two. They don't got many votes anymore. People used to love the dragon, but yeah, some skins have straight up fallen off. Elderflame is one of them. It hits B, but very low. Glitch Pop also hits B, but very low. Like, they're not getting many votes at all. Then we have Oni, not too bad. Into Smite. Bro. Bro, why are you guys voting for this thing? How did Smite beat it? Vote count beat. Bro, dude. Smite beat Oni, Glitch Pop, Elderflame, Kyrax, Mage Punk. Bro, I actually hate the community sometimes. It also tied with Ion Vandal. That is crazy in the B category, but okay. Then we have the Valiant Hero. Solid skin. I don't have many problems with it. We have Chrono Void. I think this is a decent skin. This is like a genuine B, like a pretty good quality B in my opinion, and it's now nearing the top of B, followed by Imperium. Imperium, low-key, not a bad skin overall. I don't see it very often, but I don't know, between you and me, anything I've mentioned up until this point you really see often. I don't feel like you do. However, as we enter this next section of Vandals, it is a very important section because, just to be clear, this is where things get really heated. We're going to be talking about the top 20 Vandals in Valorant. And what's going to be happening here is we're going to be shifting the way we rank these next 20 skins. It's actually kind of fun. What's going to happen is as we enter from the B, we're not going straight to the A, we're doing an A and S. I'm going to be ranking A and S both together. What happened here is I accumulated the votes in which the 4 Vandals had to face off. So the 4 Vandals that had the closest amount of votes face off, and then the top 2 results end up in the S tier and the bottom 2 results end up in the A tier. So they're all spectacular Vandals, but what this does is make a fair winner and loser within each bracket. All right, so I know it's a little bit of an abrupt cut, but a new skin line did drop in the game called the Phase Guard skin bundle, and it includes a Vandal. It is a very expensive skin bundle at 9,900 VP, and it does have some recency bias, but we cannot forget to put it in this video. So I threw it up on a vote, and within 24 hours, 25,000 of you guys voted, which is kind of insane. I can't wait to see how far this vote goes, but luckily the data is very clear. Between S, A, B, and C tier, 57% of you guys voted for the A tier, meaning without any fluff, the latest Phase Guard Vandal gets an A tier selection. Exactly where does it go? We're gonna have to wait until the next Vandal tier list, probably half a year from now, but still, overwhelmingly, you guys chose to put an A tier, so it will be an A tier Vandal for now. Here, let's start with the first poll, and it's going to make a lot more sense. So the very first poll, all these 4 Vandals had very close votes, so I had to run it through YouTube in order to get a much better vote. 24,000 people voted for the best Vandal between the RGX 11Z Pro, Arcane Vandal, Sentinels of Light, and the Amendior, whatever. I'm surprised that even a lot of these were this high, like Amendior or whatever, again, sorry, bad pronunciation, is interesting to see this high up. But if we were to roll the results here, 24,000 people voting, the RGX 11Z Pro won by a lot, 42%. Arcane Vandal comes in second at 21%, followed by the Amendior at 19% and the Sentinels of Night at 18%. So it was a really close race, very close, but technically speaking here, the RGX 11Z Pro and the Arcane Vandal get the S tier rating, and the Sentinels of Light and the Amendior get the A tier rating. Now you guys get the idea, and I think it's gonna be really interesting. We'll have 10 S tier, 10 A tier, all within close votes, battling it out. The next poll, let's bring it up. This one's also pretty surprising. Kind of crazy here. Basically, we have the Cryo status, Divergence, Exo, and Reaver all battling it out. Yes, these were all close in votes when it came to voting through my Discord, but we need a much bigger sample. Putting it out on the YouTubes here, we get 21,000 votes, and yeah, Reaver won by a mile, man. 52% is huge. Followed by, followed by Exo. Followed by Exo at 29%. One of the latest skins, Divergence, at 12% and Cryostatus at 8%. Bro, Divergence being a little higher than Cryostatus when it is substantially more expensive and supposed to be more premium skin is crazy. But still, Divergence still made waves. It still made waves. Like it or not, how much we want to complain, Divergence and Cryostatus go on to the A tier. And Exo, same idea, skin I complained a lot about, and Reaver go on to the S tier. Exo overall anyways is a clean skin. The problem was the price, not the skin itself. I think that's the consensus, but either way. Moving on to the next poll. The next poll has some heavy hitters. We're talking Prime, Singularity, Forsaken, and the Avori Dreamwings all neck and neck in the Discord vote. So let's put them through YouTube. 20,000 votes later. In first place, we have the Prime at 40% of the votes. Honestly, a classic and remains a classic. It's aged very well. People still love it. And it honestly speaks volumes. The fact that every half a year or so I make a Vandal tier list and it stays this high. Same thing with Reaver. I should have touched on it. Same thing with Reaver. Goes to show that certain skins age like fine wine. That's just the straight truth. 40% of the votes is heavy. Followed by Avori Dreamwings with 22% of the votes. Singularity with 21% of the votes. And Forsaken with 16% of the votes. Ooh, dude. Singularity and Avori were neck and neck, but based off the rules, Avori and Prime elevate themselves into the S tier category, while Singularity and Forsaken will remain in the A tier. Again, this is making a pretty good list regardless. These are all great Vandals. I think most people are happy to own any of these Vandals or all of these Vandals. If you're a whale, you know, I get it. But with that being said, we're going on to the next poll. Also a very, very, very heavy hitter. Honestly, I should stop saying that. Of course, we're in the top Vandals. They're all going to be heavy hitters. But we have Zero Fang, Araxis, Champions 2023, and Gaia's Vengeance all neck and neck in the Discord poll, of course. Put them out on YouTube, 25,000 votes later. In first place, we have Gaia's Vengeance with 39% of the votes. What's really cool is first place always is quite substantial. People clearly have a favorite in these polls. It's very rare that first place is neck and neck. So first place goes to Gaia's Vengeance. Second place goes to Champions 2023 with 25%. Then Araxis at 19%, and then Zero Fang at 17%. This is a lot more of a linear scale, and I think it is perfect. Genuinely perfect. Gaia's Vengeance and Champions 2023, both, I love these skins, go into the S tier category. They remain there. They've been there for a while, and they're strong, strong Vandals. While the Araxis and the Zero Fang head over into the A tier category, also both very strong. Honestly, a lot of these Vandals, man, this list is crazy clean. These four put together, very, 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 very clean. Then we're going to be going into the last poll. Oh man, 17,000 votes at the moment. I just need to keep in mind, like, I make this video shortly after these polls are finished, about 24 hours each. But if you were to go to my page, my community page, you're going to see these votes keep going up over time. But at the moment, one day ago, 17,000 votes. Huge shout out to you guys. 17,000 votes in 24 hours is crazy. Thank you. We're going to be talking about the Kuronami, Prelude to Chaos, Primordium Vandal, and the Champions 2021. What the hell? This is the one that surprised me. Primordium and Champions 2021 making it so up high though. Like on the Discord list, it made it so high. They made it so high. Champions 2021, I thought it fell off. I don't mind it. I like it, but I thought it fell off. Now, to be clear, if you want a clean looking Vandal that's the Vandal default skin, there's nothing better than Champions 2021. So it fills that niche. But the Primordium, I always felt was kind of bulky, but people are really enjoying that skin. However, how does it hold up against everything else that it pulled near? Well, not too well, actually. Kuronami wins at 44% of the votes. Prelude to Chaos in second place with 26% of the votes. Primordium and Champions 2021 tie at 15% of the votes each. So obviously you understand that Champions, Primordium go into the A tier, Kuronami and Prelude go into the S tier. With that being said though, I don't like how Kuronami is so dominant still. A year and a half of Kuronami being on top? That is crazy. It has been not just S tier, which it probably always will be. It's a great quality skin, but number one on the Discord poll, it won number one. Well, actually at the moment it tied with Prelude to Chaos, but it doesn't matter because when filtered through YouTube, it's not even close. 44% versus 26%. Kuronami is still standing on top clearly. So yeah, there's the list here. I think overall it's pretty solid. You guys usually end up cooking. There's a few underdogs and a few surprising overperformers, mainly Champions 2021, Amondir, Primordium. I didn't expect them that high to hit the YouTube polls, but they did. They made their way to the top. I think anything in the top 20 Vandals is peak anyways. We're talking about A and S. It's literally peak. And there's some sleepers. There's some sleepers. I love Mage Punk. I hate you guys. I really enjoy that skin. Either way, let me know what you think down below, and thanks for watching.